faith, family, business, adventure. This is the Phoenix Podcast with Ken Sharpe.
Good evening and welcome to the Phoenix Podcast Show with Ken Sharpe. We are delighted this evening to have a special guest, Lincoln. Welcome to the show. Lincoln Masiyenyama is from Harare, a humble man, humble beginnings, starting off with nothing, self-made, and I'm right excited here to get into your story tonight, Lincoln. So start off by telling us, where were you born, when were you born, what was life like growing up in Harare?
Thank you very much, Mr. Sharpe. Hello, viewers. Hello, everyone. My name is Lincoln Masiyenyama. I was born on the 1st of May in 1991. I was born right here in the center of Harare by Harare Hospital. Yes.
That's Goma Hospital, right?
Yes.
So, born in 91, 90s, period of change, Economic Structural Adjustment Program, ESAP. What was life like growing up in Warren Park, I believe?
Yes.
You lived with your parents?
Yes.
Tell us about that life. How was it?
Okay, so I did my primary level at Livingstone, junior. I stayed with both my parents up until I was in grade 4. Then my mom left for South Africa. So I stayed staying with my father, who later then passed on when I was late. I'm pretty sure it was when I was in grade 5. Yes. Then
That must have been tough.
yes. So then I stayed with my Mkwasha. Yes, the husband to my sister, who took care of me up until I was in until I was in form 3. I remember it was third term of form 3. Then I had to stay again with my brother, who took me until I was 25 years.
So he was your older brother?
Yes.
And he took care of you?
Thank you. Yes.
What is his name?
Watson.
Watson. So
Yes.
hopefully Watson is watching this?
Yes.
So tell us, go back to those young formative years as a toddler, as far back as you can remember. What are some of the memories you have with your father, with your family, experiences, something that changed the way you thought or changed the way you did things?
You know, I was daddy's boy. I remember very well when I wanted to go to primary school. He asked me, which school do you want to go to? So I had a friend who was going to David Livingstone. So that's how I chose to go to David Livingstone. But it was so unfortunate because I remember when I was in grade 3, my dad lost his job. So things kind of started to be a bit tough, and you'd see he was really, really trying to get to ends meet. Yeah. But yeah, it was good.
So what did he do? What was his employment?
He used to work for Matchford's.
Okay.
Yes, Matchford's funeral.
Okay.
Yes. He was a driver there. He was an undertaker, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
So your friends, some of the relationships you had?
Yes, I used to play with Ronnie and Richard, Tariro, yes. And I was the youngest of them all, yeah. So most of them, they have grown. Others are outside the country. Others, they're doing well in their own businesses, yes.
You stay in touch with them?
Yes, we talk.
So tell me, when your father was still alive, your memory of him, what are some of the things that you would like to share with the audience today that are important to you? Some of the values that maybe you had, or some of the lessons that he taught you? Would there be anything you would be willing to share with us?
Yeah, my dad would always say, if you want to make it in life, you have to work. And he would always try to push me. I think what touched him the most was to see me happy. So it was like he would just do anything that I request, anything that brings a smile on my face. So he was someone who would push me to do better in school, because by then I was still a junior in primary level. So he would push me. He wants me to be always in top 10. But it was so unfortunate because I remember sometimes I'll be second from the last. It was only when I was in grade 3, maybe when I got into the top 10. Yes, and you could feel it, and I could tell that my dad is very happy.
So he was proud of you?
Very proud.
I'm sure he'd be very proud of you today, Lincoln. So I don't know if you've heard of, obviously you've heard of Harvard Business School.
Yes.
I'm a school dropout. I dropped out of school at 17, but I managed to get into Harvard Business School and went to study there for 3 years. And we did case studies. So we look at companies, successful companies, and studied them and then gave our interpretation of those businesses, how they operated. And there were many lecturers, many professors, faculty. One of the classes we took was innovation, and we didn't meet him, but the father of innovation is from Harvard.
Okay.
And he wrote a book called Innovator's Dilemma. I recommend you to read it if you haven't. And most of innovation in the world today can be linked to that book. He also wrote a book later in his life called How You'll Measure Your Life. And in there he talks about bringing up our children. I know you're not yet married. Yes. We'll come to that. We'll talk about that. But when you do get married and have children, and looking at your own life as a youngster, the influence your parents had on you, your father and then later your mother, would you agree with him where he says it's not what you do for your children that makes them, but it's what you don't do for them that makes them?
I agree 100%.
Why? Tell us some of your experiences and how that relates to you.
Okay, so I remember very well after Dad passed, I stayed with my Mkwasha. Then when I was staying with my brother, I failed my Form 4, my ordinary level. Mm-hmm. I had 4. Okay. So for you to progress, you need 5 subjects. So I had 4. So I had to sit again. So when I sat again, I then passed, bringing my total to 6 subjects. So I could now progress to A level. Right. So after I finished the exams, after the exam results came, there came a moment whereby my brother then, that's when the entrepreneurship all started from. Because my Ameguru, my brother's wife, then had to ask me to look after poultry, mm-hmm. Chickens. Okay. So we did chickens. I remember very well. It was there was a cholera outbreak during mm-hmm. the time. So we would get the chickens and we'll go with them to Chitungwiza and we'll sell them in Chitungwiza. Then after that, after I started finished selling the chickens, that's when I moved to selling ice creams. So as I was doing ice creams, I wasn't doing ice creams for myself, but I was doing them for my brother and the wife. So at that moment, I felt like maybe they were, abusing me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel so good.
Child labor, free labor.
Exactly. At that time, I didn't feel so good. But later along the line, I became, when I started selling electronics, I found out that where I got my skill, it wasn't from school. Mm. It was through the experience which I went through when I was selling my ice creams. Mm-hmm. So it's something that made me realize and understand that sometimes when you think people are being tough on you, they're actually not being tough on you, but they're actually teaching you. Because I remember what my brother would always say to me, you say, young man, you can't there's nothing that comes for free. As a man, you have to get yourself out there, you have to work. That's how you can only make it in life. Mm. Because him also, through his past experience, he had encountered a similar circumstances, if I'm not mistaken. So it's something that you would try by all means to encourage me with. So yes, life will not always go the way you want.
By the sweat of your brow, God says.
Yes.
So coming to talking about God, are you a man of faith? Do you have a system of religion?
Yes.
And how important to you is it? If you wouldn't mind sharing with us.
Yeah, I'm a Christian, mm-hmm. and my spiritual father is Apostle Pride Sibia. Mm-hmm. Yes, he has nurtured me since 2013 to date. He has been someone who has been there for me. Sometimes things get tough, and you've got nowhere to turn to. But him, you always encourage, and he's always also encourage you to go on fastings and pray. So I really do appreciate him. And also my assembly pastor, his name is Pastor Brighton Madziro. Mm-hmm. He has been also very instrumental in my life.
And how much do you think God has played a role in your life to date?
100%. God is just so good.
He is, isn't he?
Yes.
So coming back to your culture, your totem, tell us a little bit about what your totem is. What does it mean to you? You're a Shona?
Yes. I'm Soko Mkanya. Yes.
Kanya.
Yes.
And what does it mean to you? How do you relate to that? And do you speak to your relatives at large? How do you associate with the totem?
Yes, we do. We do. We do. Though I'm not very much traditional, but we do. And every time when we get to gatherings, they're like, "How Magadiko Soko, Magadiko Mkanya." Yes, so it's something that I'm also getting used to.
So you're a Gen Z, I think, Generation Z.
Yeah,
91.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know, the new generation is Alpha generation, the young babies today. Do you think they'll still carry on with the traditions, with the culture, understanding what their forefathers did, where they came from, and how will you be able to teach that to, let's say, your children when they come?
I think the responsibility lies with us. It's only us who can actually impact that into the young ones. So I'm pretty sure if us were to do our part, and that is to educate these young ones, it becomes so simple and easy for them to actually carry from where we would have left and carry it forward.
And are you grateful to your relatives, to your seniors that brought you up in a cultural, in a more traditional way? This is the opportunity to maybe honor some of them or speak about it, or some of the things you didn't like.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful even to my brother Watson Mooni. I'm very much grateful. My Mkwasha, that's Kudakwasha Ganyani. I'm very much grateful for what he did. You know, it's not easy to look after your, you know, him being Mukwasha and being Tejara. It's something that is not very easy, but he took it upon himself, and I'm very much grateful.
So just as we wind up this session, in a couple of minutes, share with us some of your personal habits, what you do on a regular basis, what time do you get up, what kind of things do you eat, how do you look after yourself?
Okay.
What's important to you?
Okay, I usually wake up around 5. I sleep around 11, 12. It just depends.
Not a lot of sleep.
Yes. Then usually I go for shooting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guns?
Yes, guns.
So what kind of guns do you shoot?
9mm.
Pistols?
Pistols,
Target practice, hopefully no people.
Not people, yes, target practice.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long have you been doing that?
2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why do you like that?
You know, I just like playing around with my adrenaline levels. Yeah, just recently I was in Vic Falls and I went for the bungee jump. Those are the kind of things that I enjoy doing.
Well, I'm sure today's show is a lot easier than jumping off a bridge.
Definitely.
So some more things. What about diet, exercise?
Yeah, I'm a morning walker. Yes, I walk 5 kilometers.
Every morning?
Yes. Then in terms of food, I enjoy eating rice, rendori, and chicken. Yes, I enjoy eating white meat more than red meat. So basically, yeah, that's me.
And 3 times a day? Do you eat 3 times a day?
Usually it's twice a day. Yes.
Lunch and dinner? No?
Breakfast and
lunch?
And supper.
And supper? So you skip lunch?
Most of the time.
And when you fast, you mentioned fasting. What kind of fasting do you do?
It depends. I can go for absolute fasting. That's the whole day, and I'll break at 6. And depending on the type of fast that I'm doing, other times we can actually go day and night.
No drinking, no eating?
No drinking, no eating.
And how many days have you done in the past, like the longest?
The longest was 3 days and 3 nights.
No eating and no drinking?
Yes, I did it with my
incredible.
Yes.
That's incredible.
So I took water the 3rd day, and I remember very well I had a running stomach.
Yeah, because they say after 2 days of no water, it's dangerous, it's life-threatening.
Yes.
So what is the main thing that motivates you to keep fasting?
I'm a spiritual person, and you know, I believe in Deuteronomy 28, 1-40, which speaks on obedience and disobedience. So I try by all means to keep my faith levels very high. So that's why I fast most.
So you've heard it from a very obedient man, Lincoln. Stay tuned, we'll be back.
Thank you.
Faith, family, business, adventure. This is the Phoenix Podcast with Ken Sharpe. Faith, family, business, adventure. This is the Phoenix Podcast with Ken Sharpe.
Welcome back to the Phoenix Podcast. We have Lincoln on our show today, a man of obedience, a man of humble beginnings. I believe, Lincoln, when you started off your business life, you were an ice cream vendor on the streets.
Yeah.
So take us back to those years. How old were you? What are the things you did on the streets? And how did that all lead to where you are today?
Okay, I was only 17. Yes, it was just after O-level. That's when I started selling ice creams. Like I said earlier, I was selling ice creams not for my personal, but it was a family thing. Mm-hmm. So it's something that I did for a year. Then after a year, I went back to school. That's when I did my A-level. After I did my A-level, I remember very well, I only had 3 points. So after I finished A-level, I then went back to business. I was now a cross-border going to South Africa. So
cross-border trader?
Cross-border
buying
trader.
Goods, bringing it across in bags?
Yes, I was selling. Yes.
By the way, I started my life as a cross-border.
That's good. That's good. So I was a cross-border trader for about 3 years. That was up until I was around 22 years. Then from there, that's when I started doing my cross-border trading, going to Tanzania. So at first, I would go to Tanzania to buy clothes, to import clothes to Zimbabwe. Then later, I had a license. I got my license when I was 19. So through experience, the people whom I would meet there in Dar es Salaam, sometimes they'll ask me, do you have a license? And I'll say, yes, I do have a license. So they'll ask me to drive their car from Dar es Salaam to Harare. So they wouldn't pay me anything. What they'll just ask me to do is to put my luggage into the cars. So what it meant is I will have free transport back to Zimbabwe, and I wouldn't be paying even for luggage. Even when it comes to food, I'll know that will all be catered for.
So go back to the ice creams. How much was an ice cream bought for? Where did you buy it from? How much were you selling it at? How did you sell them?
They were going for $1 for 2.
$1 for 2?
Yes.
So it was US dollar economy?
Yes. So it was $1 for 2, and would buy them in Mondoro. That's Kefalas.
Kefalas?
Yes.
And who would you sell them to, and how would you sell them?
Would sell them to the public. Would sell them. Our main, where would get most of the clients were through functions. Mm-hmm. Like Monday to Friday, we'll be just walking around. I used to stay in Hatfield, so I would sell them Queensway shops, Maruta, Keldon. That was the area. That's during the week. Then if it's Saturday, would look for where there are functions, mainly weddings, because there will be high traffic there and would make very good sales.
And how many would you sell in a day?
About 7 boxes.
And in a box, you get how many?
About between 25 to 30 cones.
Whoa.
Yes.
So you're talking of 200 ice creams a day?
Yes.
This is not a joke, you know. It's not apples or bananas carrying around. How do you keep them frozen? How do you carry them?
So what happened then, my brother would actually help us. He would assist us, because in terms of, would cut boxes, and we'll put our boxes there, and we'll pick them nicely. They wouldn't melt.
On their own, no refrigeration?
No refrigeration.
No ice?
Ice,
yes.
you put ice.
Okay.
Yes, you put ice.
Dry ice?
Dry ice, yes.
Okay. So what did you learn selling ice creams, and how did that then help you become who you are today?
It gave me a lot of confidence, even when I was starting to sell even clothes, and even when I was selling the electrical gadgets. It gave me a lot of confidence. I could actually approach any person without fear of, what are they going to say? Because I have been in the streets, I've been a vendor, so it was very much easy.
So tell us your journey, selling ice cream, selling clothes, then selling cars. How did you get into the business you're in now of boreholes? What led to that, and how did you start?
So when I started Nakiso Borehole Drilling, we had discovered that there was need for water. So I sat down with Brilliant, who happens to be my friend whom I was with during my school days. So he's the one who said, no, Link, maybe we can try borehole drilling here in Zimbabwe. It seems like there's great opportunity. And I said, no, let's give it a try. So that's how we got into the boreholes.
And your first machine, how did you buy that? Where did you find the finance?
So, I'm a very loyal person, I must say. So, I remember very well after I was doing my cross-border trading, then I got into doing also electricals, TVs, etc. So through that, you meet a lot of people, different people. So there was someone who had so much trust in me as well. So when I presented my idea to them, they were like, so how much do you have? And I told them, so what's the shortfall like? And I told them. Then they said, you know what, Lincoln, seems like your idea is very good. So what we're going to do is we're going to part ways with our money, but please make sure that you pay us back, which I did. So that's how we got to...
So someone actually lent you the money?
Yes.
Gave it to you and said, get started?
Exactly.
Amazing. And how long did it take you to pay them back?
About 6 months.
No way.
I'm telling you.
And what did they think when you came with the money?
They were like, we're surprised. We didn't know that you were going to bring us.
And did they ask for interest?
No interest.
No interest.
Not even a
So
dime.
that's a real hand up in life.
Yes.
And that was your first machine?
Yes.
And when was that? What year?
That was 2019.
19.
Yes.
And today you have 6 machines?
6 machines, that's
So
correct.
tell us how your business has grown over that period. What are the kind of volumes you're doing now with boreholes? How many boreholes have you done? How many are you doing a year, a month? Tell us a bit about the business.
It depends. Like currently the season which we are in right now, it's a rainy season. So there is low demand when it comes to borehole drilling right now. But during the dry season, that's when our numbers go a bit higher. But we've drilled over 1,000 boreholes. Yes,
That's
to
huge.
date. Yes.
And how many meters are each borehole?
It's 40 meters. They range between 40. Others go to 100. Others go to 150. Others go to 200. Just depends. Our machines can do up to 350 meters.
Wow. So I believe the water table in Harare is falling all the time.
Yeah.
Have you seen that in the last few years? Have you seen a change? Has it gone down? Is it staying stable? What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, the water table is going down because we're receiving a lot of calls whereby people are asking us to come and deepen their boreholes. Mm-hmm. Because before, they would actually be having water at 20 meters, but they'll be asking now to go deep 60, 80 meters.
Right.
So indeed, yeah, the water table seems to be going down.
Some of the other services you offer, I believe, are for mining companies.
Yes.
I don't know much about this, but something reverse circulation, core drilling. I've heard of core drilling.
Yes.
Blast hole drilling, cement. What is this all about? How does it work? And is it a different machine? And how are you finding that industry?
So our common business is drilling. So we drill for different reasons and different purposes. Others, they drill for water. Others, they drill for minerals. Others, they drill for mineral samples. That's reverse circulation and core drilling. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do. Others, they want to blast. So we offer the services. That's for blast hole drilling.
And you employ how many people?
Right now, currently, we are on 40.
40
then
people.
When we are on our peak, the number goes to 80 people.
So between 40 and 80 people?
That's annually, yes.
Tell us how you manage those people and what kind of style you have of management. How do you get them to achieve results?
I took it from Moses. When Moses cried to God that he was suffering a lot, God gave him, he said, gather 70 elders whom you shall sit with. Mm-hmm. And then I will come and I will impact you when you are together. So I must thank the team that I have at Nakiso Borehole Drilling. They have been very much instrumental and they're actually helping me. As a dropout, we've got degreed people, we've got people with masters, so they're actually taking the dream forward, and I really do appreciate them.
Have you heard that people, a school dropout, employing people with master's degrees? So tell us, where does the name come from, Nakiso?
Nakiso.
Yeah.
Nakiso is Shona.
Oh, it sounds Japanese.
It's Shona, to beautify.
Beautify.
Kunakisa.
Oh,
yes.
That's a beautiful name. And
yeah.
Where did you get it from, and what inspired you to call the company that?
People were crying, no water. So we said, no, we want to come and we want to kunakisa zvinhu so that people could actually smile.
Really nice.
Yes.
So let's look at Nakiso in the next few years. Where do you see it growing? Like if I was to say to you, what is your 1-year growth plan? What is your 3-year? What is your 5-year? What is 10-year plan? Where will the company be in 10 years?
So recently we just had our strategic workshop. It was a 3-day strategic workshop. And the team gave me a task. They asked me to build an asset base of 5 million in the next 3 to 5 years. So that's going to be the main goal. We want to achieve that in the next 5 years.
So that's building equipment worth $5 million US.
Yes.
Within the next 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
Quite ambitious.
Thank you.
And what do you think for you is the most important thing in your business?
Come again?
In your business,
Yes.
running your business, what is the most important thing to you?
The most important thing, okay, before we started Nakiso, at first, when I got into business, I wanted to make money. But along the line, I then discovered that no, it's no longer about me alone. We now have stakeholders who are affected by each and everything that transpires, that happens in the organization. So those have been the people that give me the motivation, because every time I think of the families, the employees, the people, imagine 40 people that are waking up every morning and going to Nakiso Borehole Drilling. So those are the kind of things that have given me the motivation, that have given me the spirit of wanting to work even harder and harder each and every day. And also, when we do our corporate social responsibilities, we've done quite a number of them. We've done balls in Chimanimani, in Ep.4, in Nakonde, in Chitungwiza. We've donated quite a number of balls. The joy that you see those families giving, the dances, it's something that affects me and gives me the zeal to want to work and work each and every day.
So it started off being about the money,
Yes,
but soon it became about the people.
that's correct.
Zimbabwe, I often say, has a lot of resources. And our country is measured normally by the resources, the agriculture we've got, the mineral resources in the ground, the natural beauty. But I don't like to measure it by those values, because I think the greatest value Zimbabwe has is its people. So I love to hear that you're focusing on the people. And at the end of the day, it's all about the people.
Thank you.
People are the ones that make the results happen. So the last question, we've got 2 minutes left of this segment. The last question I want to ask you is sales. So you're the CEO or managing director of the business, is that your title? So as the head of the company, how important are sales to you, and how often do you get to actually speak to customers and sell product?
To be honest with you, I don't talk much with the clients.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to, at Nakiso, we've got a team, and the team are doing very well. And I say to myself, I don't want to be the limiting factor. So if I've got a sales manager, the sales manager has to be involved very much, even with the clients. If there is a client whom they want me to meet, my door is always open.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that has made them motivated. They've given them much eagerness to make as much sales. And I must say, they are doing very well when it comes to sales.
Fantastic. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
Faith, family, business, adventure. This is the Phoenix Podcast with Ken Sharpe. Faith, family, business, adventure. This is the Phoenix Podcast with Ken Sharpe.
Welcome back, Lincoln. You were talking about sales and how important it is to you. And I understand what you're saying, that you delegate. You believe that your limiting factor could be yourself.
Yes.
So if you were to hold on to the business and say, I've got to do everything, you wouldn't grow.
Yes.
So you've got to be able to allow the team to be empowered,
Yes.
to be incentivized, to be motivated, and to grow the business. But at the same time, you realize the importance of having an open door policy.
Yes.
If the client wants to see you, he can see you.
Yes.
How much do you stay on top of sales? How do you set targets, and how do you manage your team? How do you motivate them? What kind of incentives do you give them?
Okay, so like I said before, when we started, it was about making money. But now, I think as the company goes up, also in terms of employee welfare, they also have to rise. So we rise together. This is our thing. It's no longer a Lincoln's thing, but it's it's our thing, it's the team's thing. You know, I was very much surprised, even the vision which was set. I just told them of what I wanted to achieve on the next 5 years, but the vision is the team. It was everyone's effort, from as low as the general hand, the gardener. They were all there, so they contributed. So it's something that I'm believing in, and they will definitely do deliver.
That's awesome. And how do you keep them incentivized? Do you pay them a salary? Do you pay them commissions? How do you keep them aligned to your goals to achieve those results?
Yeah, they've got salaries, and also definitely they do have incentives. Yes.
And salespeople, are they on a commission as well, or how do you
Yes,
how do you incentivize them?
Yes, they're also on a commission.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me, coming back to leadership style, if you were to look at yourself, imagine now that you were analyzing your own leadership style. What kind of style do you have, and how do you see that working in the business and people interacting with you as a leader?
So it was a question that was also raised in the strategic workshop. And I must say I am both autocratic and democratic. There are times where you need to make, you know, an autocratic type of leadership, and there are times where you need to have an open door policy and you have to be democratic. So I must say the scale weighs more on democracy and a bit on the autocratic side.
So you feel you're a balanced leader?
You will tell me that.
So looking at your business, do you have a mission statement, a vision statement?
Yes.
What are they? Would you mind sharing? What is your mission and vision?
So we now have a new mission that was just said. Right, sorry, I think I still have it in the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I have it in my phone. But maybe she can help me with it.
Sure,
it was
sure.
still new because it came out just yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
Yeah.
So this strategy session that you had, a little bird told me that you've just done it this year.
It was from Monday up to it was the day before yesterday. It was from Monday up to Wednesday.
And it was setting the goals for this year?
Yes.
So
for the next 5 years.
For the next 5 years?
Yes.
So take us through those few days, those 3 days. What were you talking to your team about? What were you focusing on?
Oh, it wasn't me mainly. We had to hire a consultant.
Okay, so you brought in a professional.
Yes. They are the ones that took us through the process. What I was only asked to do was to give the vision, which I did. What the company goals for the next 5 years, which I presented to them. But in terms of leading, it was being done by a professional consultant.
And that consultant helped you to develop your mission statement and your vision statement.
Yes.
And if you look at your vision statement, what would you say it means? Just summarize it in your own words. If you were to say, what is your vision as a company?
Our vision is to empower employees to grow the business, to provide excellency, and to be always innovative. That's mainly where it's centered.
Nice. And have you heard of a strategy statement?
Strategic statement?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have one?
Not yet.
Okay. Because when I went to Harvard, one of the things that I had not heard of was a strategy statement. I'd heard of all the other ones and the typical business plan. I'd been through many businesses. But at that stage of my life, and bearing in mind I've had more than 100 companies, 30 years of experience, I was surprised that I didn't pay attention to something like a strategy statement. But what they taught us is that it's good to have a vision and mission statement, but it doesn't necessarily explain to people exactly where they're going to, or why they're going there, or how they're going to get there. And a strategy statement is almost like a roadmap of where you're at now and where you're going to in the future. So our strategy statement at Westprop is to put 1 billion bricks in the ground by 2050 and create vertically integrated ecosystems of lifestyle developments where people can live, work, shop, and play.
That's good.
So that's really building cities in a way. And those ecosystems have to be self-sustaining. But I think for us, what's so satisfying to see every day is people living and breathing that strategy statement. And as we go on year by year, day by day, month by month, I can see the ownership. It's no longer a strategy statement. And again, I didn't come up with it on my own. Our top management team came up with it together. But I see the whole company taking ownership of that and living and breathing it. So I'd like to encourage you as well to look at strategy because you have a strategy in the next, let's say, few years to build a $5 million asset base.
Yes.
But I would encourage you to look beyond that period. Look beyond the immediate horizon. look much further afield. You know, we're looking to 2050 and beyond. So coming back to that, where would you say Zimbabwe as a nation would be, and you as a business in 2050? What would you like to see? Let's just visualize the future for a moment. So we're now sitting in 2050. How does it look for you as a company? How does it look for you as a leader? And how does it look for you as a country?
Okay. All right, so can you come again?
So we're sitting now in the year 2050.
Mm-hmm.
We're no longer sitting here in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward 26 years ahead.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as a business? Where you at?
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as a country? Where we at?
Yeah, to be a smart economy, electric cars, electric machines, solar energy, renewable energy, sorry. Yeah.
And Nakiso? Where's Nakiso in that?
Right. In 25 years.
26.
26 years. By then, we'll be a group company, venturing into energy, mining. I'm pretty sure by then boreholes will be all over Zimbabwe, so there won't be boreholes. Yeah.
So you'll diversify.
Yes.
And would you expand regionally into beyond the borders of Zimbabwe? Are you still a Zimbabwean business?
I would like to invest more here in Zimbabwe, but however, if opportunities arises outside Zimbabwe, we can as well invest, but we'll not leave Zimbabwe.
I like that. So we're also very focused on Zimbabwe. I often get asked to come and do projects in Bulawayo or Kwekwe, Gweru. They're still in Zimbabwe, but I don't go. The reason why is we're really focused on what we've got in Harare.
Okay.
It's all about commitment to deliver, deliver on time, deliver the quality, deliver according to the price. And we've got a big enough cake in Harare on its own for the next 26 years.
That's good.
So we are actually holding back and saying no. Sometimes it's more important to say no than to say yes.
Yes.
So coming back to a personal question, before I get to the final business questions, I noticed you're not married yet.
Yes.
You're a handsome young man, successful. What's happening? And maybe there's some nice ladies watching this program tonight. Tell us a bit about your ambitions with your family or your future.
Okay, and now I plan to marry soon. Yes, that's all I can say.
Okay. That's good enough. Sorry to put you on the spot. So coming back to the business, you know, management skills are really important. And if you don't mind sharing with the audience how we met, because we were at the top institute in Zimbabwe of management.
Yes.
And it was the annual awards not long ago.
Yes.
So tell us that evening, what happened and what did it mean to you?
So I got an award for second runner-up entrepreneur of the year from Zimbabwe Institute of Management. After I received the award, Mr. Kane Sharpe, he was the overall businessman of the year. So, but there was something that touched me the most. You know, growing up as a nobody, people will say a lot of things. People will say critics. People will say you're nobody. People will say you're a failure. People will say you'll never be able to achieve anything in life. People say a lot of things.
Imagine.
But on the day, you know, things kind of changed, because what happened there is, imagine a whole multi-millionaire person, right, dedicating his award to this person who has been called a nobody. You know, it's something that meant a lot, because Mr. Kane Sharpe, yes, you dedicated your award to me, of which is something that meant a lot for me. It's something that meant a lot in my life, because it erases those memories whereby someone is saying you're not anyone, you're a nobody. So I must say it's something that motivates, something that uplifts spirits, and you know, it gives me the energy. Even I'm not even very good when it comes to being on TVs, but here I am because somebody somewhere showed me that it's very much possible. Yes.
Thank you, Lincoln. I really am touched by that, because I was called a nobody in my life.
Okay.
I was bullied as a youngster. They said I would become nothing. And look at where I am today. I can't claim any of it for myself, because like you, I believe it all comes from God. So I give him the glory. But I'd like to share with our audience, you can't really see well, but I'll show you the picture. So that's me and Lincoln back in November, was it?
That's December, yes.
December?
Yeah.
So just over a month ago. And that's the award. It says National Leadership and Management Excellence Awards, Businessman of the Year winner for the year 2023 from the Zimbabwean Institute of Management. And I gave that award to my good friend Lincoln to put on his wall, to remind him that he can be the Businessman of the Year in Zimbabwe.
Thank you.
Because I know you're going to be.
Thank you.
Mark my words.
Thank you.
My money's on you. Even though it's literally not on you, if I had to make a bet, I'd put it on you.
Thank you.
So in the last few minutes here, as we wind up, and I remember that evening we were asked the question, does anyone know the difference between what management does and what leadership does?
Mm-hmm.
And I got it right because they gave me a red hat, right? So management has the ability to get people to do the things they don't want to do.
They don't want to do,
So
yes.
you can imagine a whip or some kind of system to force them.
Yes.
And leadership is getting people to do the things, not only getting, but inspiring people to do the things they didn't know they could actually do.
Yes.
So how does that relate to you as a leader? And how do you see yourself getting people to be inspired to do things that they didn't know they could do?
All right. So, it is through those platforms where we get to learn. For the first time, I must say, Nakiso, in the 4 years of operation, only last year was the first year we were formally audited. So by an external auditor, of which is something that exposed and showed us a lot of things, even in terms of where we needed to improve. That's why this year alone, 2024, we started by having a strategic session. We have never had a strategic session even before. And we also believe in innovation. We also believe in innovative mindsets. So we are starting to send our employees to school. Because when we started, we're at a very small scale, very low level, but the company seems to be growing very high. So in as much as us, as employees of Nakiso, we also have to further also our innovation capabilities, of which we are trying to do.
That's fantastic. So here's a man who believes in the future. Here's a man who's investing in the people, in his business. Here's a man who understands the importance of strategy. And here's a man who's going places. It's been a pleasure having you today, Lincoln. I would like you to give a parting message to our audience tonight.
Thank you.
A message of inspiration, of hope, of being able to come as a nobody from nothing and achieve something.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a parting word. Speak to the audience out there.
All right. I must say to the audience, success is not something that comes overnight. You have to work for it and you have to be consistent. Don't give up easily. Yeah, thank you.
Amen to that. And thank you for tuning in today. Like, share, forward. Please get it out there. We want this message to be heard by as many people as possible. Thank you for watching us. Good night.
Faith, family, business, adventure. This is the Phoenix Podcast with Ken Sharpe.